Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our 25th Annual Heart and Excellence Awards. My name is Tara Peterson, and I am the CEO of the YWCA Glendale and Pasadena. Let me start by wishing you all a happy International Women's Day. I can't think of a better day to celebrate these exceptional women serving at the forefront of gender equity. 25 years ago, there was no platform for honoring local women who committed themselves to expanding opportunities and enriching the community around them. Today, we are so proud to continue this tradition with a few of the over 100 inspiring women we have had the privilege to recognize. As we open this event, I'd like to first take a moment to acknowledge the Tongva, Kizh, and Chumash peoples as the traditional land caretakers of the Los Angeles Basin and the Southern Channel Islands. As we commit to caring for these lands for the next generation, we do so with reverence and appreciation for those who have come before us. In our mission to build a more just and equitable world, we must acknowledge people's resistance against displacement and erasure, honor our ancestors, and welcome present relatives and relations. Today's program will be shaped around YWCA's core values: courage, compassion, and commitment. We must have the courage to face our biggest challenges, the compassion to respond with understanding, and the commitment to see the work through until the world sees women, girls, and people of color the way we do: equal, powerful, unstoppable. At YWCA Glendale and Pasadena, we know that success is a group effort. When we succeed, it is because of the connections we've made and the community we've built. Today, we celebrate that community both in honoring the phenomenal women driving gender equity in their respective professions and charitable work, but we also do it through the generosity of our community partners, sponsors, and without, we could not do this event. I would like to thank our gold sponsors, Valerie and Bruce Merritt, and Rima and Donald Cameron, our silver sponsors, Dignity Health and SoCal Gas, our community advocate sponsors, DataStream, Glendale First United Methodist Church, Glendale Library Arts and Culture, Hutchinson and Bloodgood LLP, Anita Quiones Gabrielian, and the Espinoza family, and our friends and family sponsor, Senator Anthony Portantino and Jessica First. And now I would like to introduce our board president, Jessica First, CEO and Chief Strategist at Kilter. Welcome, Jess.
Thank you, Tara. I am so excited to introduce our 2022 Heart and Excellence honorees and celebrate the incredible work they are doing to advance racial and gender equity. In addition to their Heart and Excellence Award, our honorees will also be receiving commendations from Assembly Member Laura Friedman, State Senator Anthony Portantino, Congressman Adam Schiff, and from Mayor Paula Devine and the City of Glendale. We will start with our Compassion Award. At YWCA, we believe impacting lives begins with understanding individual needs. Judgment blocks progress, and change can only be made from the inside. So we listen, we learn, and we respond, not to our needs, but to the needs of the community. This is how our first honoree, Carla Buigues, approaches her community. Carla emigrated from Argentina to the United States when she was 14 years old, and today boasts an impressive 30-year real estate career. She is currently leading the Buigues Group, a full-service elite real estate team of women with a specialization in probate and estate sales. It is here that she serves her clients and their families' long-term needs with compassion and care in their most vulnerable moments. But it is her expansive philanthropic resume that is perhaps the most impressive. At a quick scan, you might deduce that Carla has been involved with nearly every charitable organization here in Pasadena. From her work with Pasadena Children's Guild, the AIDS Service Center, TEDx Pasadena, to the Pasadena Fire Foundation, and her role as a committee member of WIN and NAACP Pasadena, Carla meets her community where they are, wherever they are. And it is for this reason we can think of no better recipient for the 2022 Heart and Excellence Compassion Award.
Thank you, Jess, and thank you, Tara. And I am beyond grateful to the YWCA Glendale and Pasadena for this honor of receiving the Heart and Excellence Award in the Compassion category. My heart is absolutely full, and I am just filled with joy to receive this award. I was asked to share a little bit about who I am and about my life, and I'm going to share this, but it's really not about me. Really, the message that I want to give to all of you is to understand that I represent many women. Yes, I am an immigrant. I got here at age 14, and I didn't fit in. I wasn't Latina enough for the Latinos. I wasn't white enough for the whites. I had to find my way. And I've learned that my roots are precious and important, and I stand for being a woman of color, a Latina woman. In instances, people have said, oh, no, you're probably Italian. Well, does that make me better? So no, Latina is who I am. People of color is who I stand for. I've been through many joys and many challenges in my life. My mother died shortly after I got to this country, and I've been a motherless daughter since I was 15 years old. Started college, started taking care of Papa, who was already in his late 60s at the time. I went through marriage. I went through divorce. I've owned businesses. I have lost businesses. I've built empires, lost empires, status, money. None of those things define us. And that's really, what I want to share with all of you. In the worst, most difficult times in my life, those are the moments where I learned that with compassion and giving to others, that is where my heart really filled up. That is where the highest joys I have ever received. That is where I got involved in the community, originally through Leadership Pasadena, going through the program and understanding that I am a leader. I did not know that until I went through times in my life where I was at a crossroads, at a standstill. And those were the moments where resilience really bubbled up and became something that I've held on to for so many years. And I'll continue to say why I represent so many women. So yes, I'm a woman. Yes, I'm a woman of color. My children, who are two amazing young adults, 20 and 22, are African American. I am the woman who filed her divorce along with a domestic violence order. And so many times we put a face to and we say, well, I'm not that woman, or I'm not those people. We are all those people. And that is why I'm here. Above all, I am woman. I represent all women. I honor women. I encourage women. I celebrate women of all ages, of all sizes, of all colors, of all religions, whatever it is. We stand with each other. And I really want to acknowledge the men in my life, the men in our lives that stand for us, with us, side by side. I really find that to be precious, and I'm grateful for them. Compassion is not just a word. Compassion is a way of being, a way of life. Compassion is love in action. And with that, I leave you with the thought, the invitation to bring compassion into your life, into your daily life, into your way of being. I celebrate all of you. I am grateful. Enjoy this amazing event, and happy International Day of the Woman. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Carla. In summer of 2020, our nation experienced a racial reckoning that translated into meaningful change right here in Glendale. Our next honorees, recipients of the Courage Award, curated a visual narrative to accompany the historic Sundown Town resolution passed by Glendale City Council. Let's take a look at Anahid Oshagan and Shannon Currie Holmes' powerful work in Reckoning, Race and Resilience in Glendale.
Glendale, the jewel city of Southern California and home to over 200,000 people. For many, Glendale is a place of hope and prosperity, but the city has a history of racial discrimination.
Glendale wasn't a place where Black people lived. Sundown towns were created to keep Black people in their place. We were only good enough to be their servants, to work in their towns for them. But once the sun went down, we needed to get out.
If you were Black and you arrived in Glendale, then the police would typically stop you, query you, and you would be informed that you could not stay in Glendale, California by the time the sun went down.
Glendale's largest demonstration took place in 1924, and there were 3,000 Klansmen and 15,000 spectators.
These events have shaped Glendale, and the effects of systemic racism continue to resonate in our community today.
We really are focusing on institutional racism. We're looking at all of these institutions that exist and seeing at what can they do better to be more inclusive and what can they do to be anti-racist.
In 2020, the City of Glendale passed a resolution acknowledging and apologizing for the city's racist past. It was a historic step of reckoning.
It's extraordinary that the city of Glendale is going to get ahead of it and say, yes, we are going to proactively apologize, put on record the prevention of African Americans.
Glendale Library Arts and Culture presents Reckoning, Racism and Resistance in Glendale, a virtual exhibition exploring the library's archives to examine the city's racist history, the resistance to that racism, and our current moment of reckoning. In order to provide viewers a way to navigate the incredibly complex story, the exhibition has been divided into 6 episodes. We invite you to explore the archives and learn the history of Glendale, because the better we understand the past, the better we can shape our future.
When YWCA speaks of courage, it is with the belief that our collective strength emboldens us to face our biggest challenges. The work of building a more just and equitable community takes a community. The lesson of reckoning is that to celebrate the beauty of our city requires us to look at its brilliance, but also its painful history. We cannot build a just society on a foundation of injustice. And so we must explore and educate even when it is uncomfortable. And that is what our next honorees have done. We are honored to award Shannon Currie Holmes and Anahid Oshagan the Trails and Curators of Reckoning with our 2022 Courage Award.
Go ahead, Shannon. Thank you. Thank you, Tara. Thank you, Jessica. And thank you to everyone at the YWCA for the honor. Thank you to Congressman Adam Schiff, the Honorable Anthony Portantino, Assembly Member Laura Friedman, and thank you to our Glendale Mayor, Paula Devine. To the other women I share this virtual stage with, you are incredible, and the work you do is important. And I am humbled to be here with you today. I am so fortunate to share this award with my friend and colleague Anahid Oshagan, with whom I co-curated the exhibition Reckoning, Racism and Resistance in Glendale. And in order to thank all of the people that helped us get to where we are today and to stay within our allotted time, Anahid and I have divided up our thank yous between our speeches, but please know that the feelings of gratitude extend from both of us. I am fortunate to list the people who worked directly on the production of the exhibition. First, we would like to thank our co-curator and Anahid's life partner, Ara Oshagan. Ara, your dedication to the fight for social justice and your belief in the power of art to bring communities together is an everyday inspiration. To our wonderful exhibition staff, Aaron, Garem, Trent, Anna, and Anastasia, Your talent is astounding. Thank you to our research and library staff, Holly, Shannon, Greg, and Aaron, and to our brand library director, Kaylee Cannon, Glendale Library Arts and Culture Assistant Director, Nicole Piscini, and Director Gary Schaefer. And of course, a heartfelt thank you to our long list of community partners that include Black in Glendale, GUSD, and of course, Tara Peterson and the YWCA. Thank you to everyone who contributed to Reckoning. My first time working with the YWCA was as a youth ambassador on an anti-racism campaign for my local Y in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, where I spent my high school years. I really couldn't have imagined that I'd be here like 30 years later, but I'm not surprised to still be fighting for a more equitable and just world, because really it's a journey without an end. And those who choose to take the journey, they're not expecting to reach a destination. They are trying to change the course. I know that both Anahid and I feel incredibly honored, but somewhat undeserving of the award of courage. And for me, this is because through the process of creating the exhibition, I began to really understand the position of privilege that I sit in, the color of my skin, my family connections, where I was born, where I live, all of it. I mean, really, how much courage does it take to go out in the world when you grow up feeling entitled to success? By learning the history of Glendale, I began to really understand systemic racism and just how pervasive and insidious it is. In the history of Glendale, courage is not found in white saviors. The courage to resist racism came from where it always does. It came from those who were being oppressed. And for Black families in Glendale, like the Garrett and the DeJarnette families, racism and the courage to succeed in spite of it was their lived experience. Maya Angelou said, "You can't really know where you are going until you know where you have been." The exhibition, Reckoning, Racism and Resistance in Glendale, has been an important journey for me. It is an important journey for the city of Glendale. And my hope is to continue to grow the exhibition, this living history, to include many more voices of color, more stories of resistance, and more stories of courage. So I will leave you with a quote from another incredible Black woman, Bell Hooks, who said, "Privilege does not have to be negative, but we have to share our resources and take direction about how to use our privilege in ways that empower those who lack it." I thank you so much for this award, and I really hope that it gives me the courage to continue on the journey, to listen, to act, and to be uncomfortable in my privilege. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Shannon. Thank you. It's been an amazing journey. And I just want to say I'm also very deeply honored and humbled to be chosen as the recipient of the Heart of Excellence Award for Courage, along with Shannon, my incredible colleague, for curating the Reckoning exhibit. It was a huge undertaking during challenging and unprecedented times with an amazing team on whose behalf I have the utmost pleasure and gratitude to accept the award. As Shannon mentioned, the hard work of a team of many staff members contributed to the success of this exceptional and groundbreaking exhibit. I'm privileged to be a co-curator of ReflectSpace. It's a gallery, an exhibition space designed to explore and reflect on social justice and human rights issues. We highlight contemporary art as well as archives, and employ a variety of media to tell difficult stories on a personal level. Part of our work is to reflect on the past and present of Glendale's communal fabric. Reckoning is one such exhibit. The history and subject matter of Reckoning, systemic racism, is, to say the least, difficult. The exhibit was born out of the courage and persistence of activists who ensured the passage of the Sundown Town Resolution. What we learn from history is that racism comes in many, many forms. It has a profound and personal significance for me. I have dug deep and searched hard for examples of my personal courage worthy of this honor here today. One I found, which encapsulates courage, as well as the YWCA's mission of eliminating racism and empowering women, is the following. And it's uncomfortable. A little over a decade ago, I had an encounter with a uniformed Glendale police officer on my street who treated me differently, unkindly, and with disrespect. I had approached his parked motorcycle, blocking our street, to inquire what was going on and to ask if I could park in our driveway, a mere 5 houses down the street, as my 2-year-old twins were asleep in their car seats. As a response, he angrily shouted at me, "Turn around, park across the street." Stunned, but obedient, I continued to make a U-turn around his motorcycle to park further away. While waiting to make a left turn, I witnessed another vehicle approach the same officer in the same manner as I had. The other vehicle stopped, the driver exchanged pleasant words and smiles with the police officer and drove through the barricade. Baffled and still waiting to make my left turn, I asked the officer, "Why were you so nice to her?" His nonchalant, emboldened, and an infuriating racist response was, "Because she's blonde." Initially enraged and shaken, I later mustered courage and penned a 3-paged letter demanding, among other things, an apology, sensitivity training, and policy changes regarding discriminatory conduct in the ranks of the police department. My letter resulted in 2 separate recorded interviews with me at the police station, followed by a final decision that, upon review, the city found no evidence of misconduct by the police officer. Needless to say, while disappointed, I was not shocked by the outcome. The Sundown Town resolution passed by the city in 2020, recognizing Glendale's racist past, is bold, refreshing, and a gratifying vindication, and a significant first step of how far our city has come from both our recent and distant past and pledges it has made to be anti-racist and pave the way for positive change across all city and its departments. I applaud and congratulate all community leaders and members, young and old, from different cultures and backgrounds, who had the courage to demand recognition of Glendale's racist past. The mayor, city council members, city manager for their courage to pass the historic resolution. Our department, Library, Arts, and Culture, for instituting the program of Be the Change and bestowing upon the staff a plethora of resources to delve into the trove of archives and never before used technology to make the virtual, groundbreaking Reckoning exhibit possible. I stand committed to courageously working alongside all of you to eliminate racism, empower women, and promote peace, justice, and dignity for all. A lot of work remains ahead, and there will be literal and proverbial roadblocks and barricades as we continue to fight for diversity and inclusiveness, but we must remain resolute. Thank you, Tara, and everyone at the YWCA and the community for recognizing our contributions, which come at the heels of yours, and without which the Reckoning exhibit would not have been made possible. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, Shannon. Thank you, Anahid, for those beautiful and inspiring words. I'm just so honored to know you both and to have the opportunity to be a part of this groundbreaking exhibit. Thank you for the work that you do and for lifting up the voices of Black folks in our community. I'm just extremely honored and humbled that you were able to be here with us today and for all of the words that you just shared. And now it's my honor to present our 2022 Camis Courage Memorial Scholarship. This scholarship was created in honor of Camis Burton, the daughter of our dear friend and former YWCA board member, Carol Ann Burton. Camis Burton was an inspiration to our community. She dedicated countless hours in service to others and tragically lost her life in a car accident while serving as an AmeriCorps volunteer in Malawi. She worked at a local health center there, helping their community address concerns around malaria and ending preventable child and maternal deaths. With the support of Carol Ann and Alistair Burton, a memorial scholarship of $1,500 is awarded to an exceptional female high school senior who has made a significant contributions to her community. This year, I am delighted to award the Camis Courage Memorial Scholarship to Emily Cruz Sosa. Emily is a student at Clark Magnet High School and will be the first in her family to attend college. Most of her family grew up in Mexico and did not have the opportunity to attend university, but her parents have worked hard to provide a better life for their children. Her parents taught her to help wherever help is needed, and so Emily has made service a primary feature of her high school career. She served as secretary of the Key Club, treasurer of the Girls in Engineering and Robotics Club, and the vice president of the Latinos Unidos Club. She's also volunteered as an office aide and teacher's assistant at her local church. She has done all of this while maintaining a 3.8 GPA and receiving a perfect score in AP Spanish, allowing her to enter the Spanish Honors Society. We are so proud of you, Emily, and all the work that you have done in your community, and we are so excited to offer you this Camis Courage Scholarship. Thank you so much, and we are honored, and we best of luck to you in your future.
Congratulations, Emily. Our next award is our Commitment Award. Many of you attending today may not realize that YWCA is the oldest, largest multiracial women's organization in the world. Our own chapter opened in 1926. For 96 years, we have been leaders in women's empowerment and will continue to lead our community as we work towards a more just and equitable Glendale and Pasadena. So when we talk commitment, we mean it. And so does our next honoree, Georgette Greene. Georgette is a partner at Hutchinson Bloodgood LLP with over 20 years experience in public accounting. But it is her commitment to education, particularly her desire to uplift women of color through academic and character development programs, that brings her to us today. For herself, she placed the highest importance on receiving the best education she could get, studying at Loyola Marymount and then USC for her master's in business taxation. And then her mission has been to give other young women of color the same opportunities. She has served on the board of the California Collegiate Charter School in South LA and Glendale Education Foundation, where she has been a tireless champion of STEM education and girls' empowerment. So it is for her dedication to the girls in our community and her professional excellence that we are honored to present this year's Commitment Award to Georgette Greene.
Thank you, Jessica, and good afternoon, everyone. I was pleasantly surprised a few weeks ago to open an email from Tara Peterson advising that I had been selected to receive one of the Heart and Excellence Awards for 2022. I am both humbled and honored to accept the Commitment Award. I am also grateful for and inspired by the mission and programs of the YWCA Glendale and Pasadena in its efforts to end gender-based violence, empower young women, and advance racial equality and equity. I started pursuing my career goal of becoming a partner in a public accounting firm in 1998. In 2017, I reached that goal upon my appointment as a partner of Hutchinson and Bloodgood LLP in Glendale. 2022 marks the 100th anniversary of H&B as a firm. And we have been in Glendale and on Brand Boulevard for that entire time. So our history is in line with the YWCA, who has been around for 96 years. H&B is a progressive and community-minded firm with several women of color as partners, as well as many of our professional employees. I have spent a number of years as a board member for the Glendale Educational Foundation and an inner city charter school in South Los Angeles. I have long believed that education is one of the keys to lifting up women and people of color. Upon reviewing its upcoming events, clearly, YWCA Glendale and Pasadena shares this view with its Tech Girls workshops and the hybrid girls after-school programming as examples. Without opportunities of such programs, many young women may fall through the cracks and not believe they can advance and step outside of what gender roles have been provided to them. I, as an inner city youth, was given a lot of opportunities to step outside of my comfort zone, develop myself professionally, and advance in the world, as well as getting my education at USC and LMU. It is clear the organization's success is made possible by many selfless and dedicated people. I plan to join your ranks through volunteering my time and providing ongoing financial support. In closing, let me say once again how grateful I am to be selected for this honor. Thank you.
Thank you, Georgette, and thank you so much for the work that you do and for being such an amazing role model and a true example about how important representation is. And so thank you so much. Also, I want to thank all of the honorees today, Carla, Anahid, Shannon, and Emily. Today, we are also blessed to have 25 years of Heart and Excellence Award alumni joining us. So ladies, if you are in the chat box, please say hi, say hello to us and let us know you're there. And we look forward to hopefully seeing you soon and in person so we can celebrate all of our alumni. What a gift it is to be in the company of such incredible women who are driving change in our community. And what a delight to hold this event on International Women's Day. Our theme for today, courage, compassion, and commitment, are core values for our organization and for YWCAs across the country. Our honorees exemplify these values and are so deserving of these honors. We also see the value of courage, compassion, and commitment every day within our organization and in the women and girls we are honored to serve. Survivors of domestic violence who, despite tremendous odds, show up to our doorsteps with the courage to begin a new life, free from violence, met by brave and compassionate staff who navigate many systems to ensure that women and their families are linked to transformative services and resources. We see members of our community take on the work of anti-racism with a deep understanding of our own complicated history and a compassion for those who show up each day to learn, grow, make mistakes, and try again so we can build a community of connection and empathy. And the leaders of tomorrow, the girls in our STEAM and violence prevention programs who demonstrate their commitment to education and curiosity in the face of a global pandemic and every change it brought. Resiliency, navigating the pivot from in-person to virtual learning alongside the caring mentors and staff dedicated to their growth. What a privilege it is to see the values in action in our work every single day. I've already checked my email and saw a lot of transactions coming through. So you folks are out there donating. So thank you to those who have already given. Thank you to those people who have purchased a ticket. We see you in the chat box. Today, we're gonna ask you to put those values into action by making a donation to support our work. If you haven't done so, we encourage you to do so today. To help us continue our mission of ending gender-based violence, empowering girls, and advancing racial justice. You can scan the QR code on your screen. You can use the donate button on the video. Your support will allow us to reach nearly the 5,000 individuals that we work with every year. We thank you for being with us today as we celebrate our collective power and passion for equity on this International Women's Day. And we have a special treat for you guys today. I can't think of anyone who embodies our values and passion for this work more than our keynote speaker, Ariva Martin. Ariva Martin is a Harvard Law School graduate and the founder of Los Angeles-based civil rights firm Martin & Martin, LLP. Ariva is one of our nation's leading voices on legal, political, and women's issues. She's a CNN legal analyst and has appeared on World News Tonight, Good Morning America, and ABC News, among many others. And while she has countless accolades and awards lining her shelves, including the L'Oreal Paris Women of Worth, Los Angeles County Woman of the Year, and is regularly named as a Southern California super lawyer, her passion as a mother and a community activist is just as extraordinary. After her son was diagnosed with autism, she created Special Needs Network, Inc., California's premier autism advocacy organization. She has raised millions of dollars for autism and disability-related causes and is recognized as one of the country's leading advocates for autism. Her most recent book, Awakening, Ladies, Leadership, and the Lies We've Been Told, is a call for action and gender equity in a post-COVID world. In it, she examines the lies we've been told and the barriers that actively hold women back and explores ways we can collectively dismantle these structures and change the narrative in our mission towards gender equity. She is a devoted mother, wife, entrepreneur, and everyday advocate. It is my honor to introduce our 2022 keynote speaker, Ariva Martin.
I walk into a room just as cool as you please, and to a man, the fellows stand or fall down on their knees. Then they swarm around me, a hive of honeybees. I say, it's the fire in my eyes and the flash of my teeth, the swing in my waist and the joy in my feet. I'm a woman, phenomenally. Phenomenal woman, that's me. Good afternoon, YWCA. Thank you so much for inviting me to be a part of this auspicious event. I want to congratulate today's amazing honorees. Your work is truly life-changing. Thank you to Tara, the board, and to the sponsors, and to all of those who have made this event possible and who have made financial contributions to this incredible organization. Happy International Women's Day to each and every one of you. What a great day to be reminded that you are all phenomenal women. See, I started my remarks this afternoon with the powerful words of the iconic Maya Angelou. See, Maya was more than an award-winning poet, civil rights activist, prominent White House speaker, Oprah Winfrey best friend, and historical figure from my hometown of St. Louis, Missouri. See, Maya was the ultimate cheerleader for all women. She was what we call today an intersectional feminist. When she thought, talked, and wrote about feminism and race and other social justice issues, she saw all the parts of a person that made them who they are. And she didn't shy away from the word feminist. Now, we know it's a word that hits different depending on who you are. Depends on your age, your race, your family background, and even your gender. And we know at different times and with different generations, some people have distanced themselves from the word, while others have run towards it and embraced it. Recently, I had an opportunity to interview a young woman named Jemiah Wilson on my talk show, The Special Report. Jemiah is an activist, an executive editor at Random House. She's also the author of several books. Her newest one is entitled, This Book is Feminist. Now, this is a children's book written by this executive editor. Jemiah is also a very proud young African-American feminist. On my show, Jemiah talked about being a young girl, just 10 or 11 years old, when she was listening to adults in her home talk about Justice Clarence Thomas and Anita Hill's sexual assault allegations against him during his nomination to the US Supreme Court. Jemiah remembers listening to someone in that conversation and hearing them call Anita Hill a feminist. That piqued this little young girl's interest. And she spoke up and said, I'm going to be a feminist. She's quite proud about herself for speaking up in a room of adults. Now, Jemiah's beloved uncle, a man with very progressive views, told her in no uncertain terms and in a stern, powerful voice, "You can't be a feminist because that's for white women." Those words never left Jemiah. Now, she grew to understand that her uncle was trying to protect her from something he believed would distance her from her community and place her in opposition to Black women. See, her uncle believed that Black women were left out of the feminist movement. Now, Jemiah has studied Bell Hooks, Mickey Kendall, and other noted Black feminists who write about white women who call themselves feminists, but who do the work of white male patriarchy while ignoring the needs and issues of women of color. Despite this reality and despite her knowledge of these feminists, this small group of white feminists, Jemiah believes to this day that for her, feminism actually deepens her connection with the Black community and her commitment to social justice issues. Now, fast forward 25 years after Jemiah's conversation with her uncle to the year of 2017. Jemiah becomes the first woman of color ever to serve as the editor of the Feminist Press. And this is in the 47-year history of this organization. There, Jemiah had the opportunity to work under Gloria Steinem, to grow through Ms. Steinem's mentorship and continue that honest conversation about feminism, women, and race. Jemiah didn't always agree with Gloria and many of the women who were integral parts of the feminist press and many of the white feminists that she met while working there. But see, Gloria Steinem lifted Jemiah, and Jemiah in turn has lifted countless other women, using her voice as a writer, editor, and activist to elevate the voices of women of color who also identify as feminists. Jemiah calls this lifting as we climb. During Women's History Month, we celebrate those women who reach new ground, lift up other women, and they do so as they climb. Of course, there's my good friend and our beloved Vice President, Kamala Harris, and all of those fabulous women we elected to Congress just a few years ago. Then there's economist, Dr. Lisa Cook, who is poised to become the first Black woman ever to serve on the Federal Reserve Board. And right here in our own community, we have Los Angeles County Supervisor and Chair of the Board of Supervisors, the Honorable Holly Mitchell. And as you all know, we may be on the precipice of having the first Black woman mayor in the city of Los Angeles, Congresswoman Karen Bass. These are indeed some remarkable moments and accomplishments we should be shouting from the rooftops. But at the same time, we also have to ask ourselves, why? As in, why did it take so damn long? So damn long to have so many of these firsts. See, this reminds us that we cannot be complacent with first. We need to keep the momentum going. We need to run up the score because we know just how hard these women had to fight. And we are seeing ourselves in real time, the racist and sexist attacks on Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson as she prepares for another first to become the first Black woman on the United States Supreme Court. So today, as much as we celebrate Kamala, Holly, Karen, and Ketanji, during this month, we must also recognize how much women have lost over the last 2 years. We must reflect on the women who lost their jobs and financial stability, and even their homes because of the pandemic. We must reflect on the many, many children, especially children of color, who lost their parents and grandparents, and sometimes their only adult caregiver as a result of COVID-19. We must reflect on the students whose educations have been set back so far that many may never recover. And when we think about these things, it reminds us as to why we cannot be complacent. See that glass ceiling that we talk about incessantly, particularly during Women's History Month? We all know it hasn't truly been broken. Now, no doubt the success stories that I highlighted earlier of women past and present, the honorees that you acknowledge today, the women who are making great strides in banking, legal careers, in medicine, in science, and in government. We know that despite those first, those are in some ways just cracks, tiny cracks in that glass ceiling. But I say today, it's a reminder that it's not time to put our hammers down. Oh no, to the contrary, we all have an obligation to keep hammering, to keep hammering, to keep hammering away at that glass ceiling, to keep pushing, to keep agitating and advocating. And we know as we break through, as we continue to make those many tiny cracks, that ceiling is going to come crumbling down. And when it does, we must make sure that we, each and every one of us on this call today, at this conference today, at this gala celebrating women, that each of us has reached down, that we've lifted up the next woman. See, because we all have an obligation to lift as we climb. So how do we do that? I submit to you, there are lots of ways to lift as you climb, but here are three of my favorite. Number one, be a mentor. Reach out to women in your community, your neighborhood, your church group. Be there for other women, young and old. Lift those women up. Number two, donate. Organizations like the YWCA have lost so much during the last 2 years, and the need for their services is even greater than ever. Number three, volunteer. Your time and your treasure, so needed by organizations like the YWCA that support all women that are fighting to create a society that's equitable for all women. Find an issue that's close to your heart and really, really commit yourself to that issue. It's all about committing to make this moment a moment of coming together into understanding that the enemy is not other women, that the fight to liberate women and dismantle the systems of patriarchy and racism cannot succeed unless that fight truly includes all women. Now, for that to happen, for this coming together to happen, white women must acknowledge the truth in Jemiah's uncle's words, that for too long, feminism was considered an exclusive club for white women. That for some white feminists, there was a lot of harm that they did to other women by aligning themselves with patriarchal structures and by ignoring the needs of women of color, needs that Mickey Kendall in her New York Times bestselling book, Hood Feminist, talked so eloquently about. And Black women and women of color, we have to be willing to find allies and be open to a new generation of women in the movement. See, women like Jemiah, they give me hope. They give me hope for a future where Black women and women of color will find prominent roles in what has historically been a very white and closed feminist movement. Women like Jemiah give me hope for a future where all women are strong enough and empowered enough to lift as we climb. Ladies, I believe this future is now. And I believe that we, each and every one of you, are strong enough today to lift each other up. So as you go forth and enjoy International Women's Day, I want each of you to remember the words of Maya Angelou. It's the fire in your eyes. It's the flash of your teeth. It's the swing in your waist, and it's the joy in your feet. You are a woman, phenomenal woman. That's you. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you very much for that phenomenal speech that you were able to share with us today. Very inspiring. Thank you so much to all of our honorees for their words and sharing their experience with us.
Thank you so much for sharing your words and for that phenomenal speech. And thank you so much to our honorees for sharing your experience with all of us today. So from everyone here at YWCA, we want to wish you a wonderful International Women's Day. We hope to see you all in person soon and be able to celebrate together.
And I also want to just take a moment to thank Ariva and all of our honorees. Ariva, thank you so much for that truly inspirational talk that you provided with us. We are going to continue to lift as we climb. We are not going to become complacent when it comes to our mission of eliminating racism and empowering women. And thank you all today for being in community with us. Thank you for helping us bridging and building communities. It is the work of the YWCA, and we will continue to do that work with all of your support. And one thing you can do not forget to sign up for our Stand Against Racism Challenge that launches on April 4th. You can go to our website for more information at glendaleywwca.org. I hope you all have a wonderful International Women's Day. Thank you for being here with us today. Be safe and be well.